church family. This is Pastor Carl and this is Teresa Tate. This is Tim's wife, and we are going to be making something special today. We're going to be making gluten-free bread, the kind of gluten-free...
allergen-free.
Sorry, allergen-free bread, the kind of bread we have at communion in the allergen-free line in the center. And something that's interesting about this allergen-free bread is usually when I have allergen-free bread, it tastes kind of like a sponge and it has a consistency of sand. But this tastes better than what that usually is. And so today we're going to be talking in our devotional about how sometimes we have to live without and look for how life still offers us flavor and consistency in a world where it doesn't feel like there is any right now. So that's what we're going to talk about today as we make some of this allergen-free bread.
What I do is the brand that I like to use is the King Arthur gluten-free all-purpose baking mix. And I've been going back and forth, but generally for the stuff that I do on Sunday mornings, I do 2 cups. And I just usually measure 2 cups out. I don't weigh it or anything. Do 2 cups of the flour. And this already has xanthan gum in it, so I do not have to add any xanthan gum. But it also requires some salt, and I do 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt. And I came up with this recipe after trying a bunch of different recipes and then just kind of putting them all together and trying to figure it out on my own. Okay, and then we do our yeast. That's about 2 and it's like a packet, the 2 1/4 teaspoon. Okay, and that's at room temperature. Then we do a tablespoon of sugar, and I already have that one pre-measured out. We're going to turn this on, and I'm going to pour the water and oil mixture. And I'm going to just kind of mix it up so it gets nice and gooey, comes together. And then I'm going to, for 3 minutes, I'm going to beat this vigorously. So I'm going to turn it up to a higher speed. And I'm going to start my clock. And so we're going to beat it for 3 minutes. Okay, so that has stopped.
We've stopped it now.
Yes. So you can see how much different
that looks a lot different, yeah.
It does look a lot different. So we're just going to take the beater out, and we're going to put this in our pan, our loaf pan, and then we're going to let it rise for about an hour. There's also another thing you can do if you don't want to wait an hour. You can actually get a cup of boiling water and put it in the microwave, and then cover this with saran wrap, the pan, and stick it in the microwave, and it really will only take half the amount of time to rise. So a lot of times I do that when I've got other stuff that I need to do.
And so we will wait for this to rise and we will be back. So we put it in the microwave for about 30 minutes to let it rise with boiling water next to it so it'll rise a little faster. And yeah. Where are we at now?
Well, let's see here. Okay. So it has, good. Yeah, it has risen some. It could probably rise a little bit more, but this is perfect. This is what we'll do. Okay. So now we'll come and we will just do this side here.
Our oven's at 350 degrees now. And we'll put it in here how long?
It goes about 30 to 35 minutes, just depending on your oven.
So while we were baking the bread, we started to talk about what it looks like to live more simply. As you know, this bread we talked about, it's allergen-free, and so in a lot of ways it's a lot more simple because it doesn't have the typical gluten structures that make up bread. It doesn't have a lot of the other ingredients that are important in bread, like eggs or any of those allergen items. Now, living simply is important right now because a lot of people are worried about not having enough. If you've been to a grocery store recently, you've probably seen that. If you've been on Google recently, you've probably seen that. When I looked up a how-to video today, after I typed in how-to, the very first words that popped up after that were to be poor. People are thinking about what it means for them to have to live more simply. And so today I thought about some scripture that might help us as maybe a breath prayer for the next weeks as we think about what it means to live more simply in our lives. Hear the scripture from Psalm chapter 46, verse 10. He says, "Be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the nations. I will be exalted in the earth." Be still is what we hear. Be still is what we're called to. Be still and recognize who God is and who we are. As we seek to live more simply, one of the best ways we can do this is to remember that God is in control, God is in charge, and God will care for us. And look at that beautiful, beautiful bread.
Smells good.
It does smell good. It smells like bread.
Try it.
Alright, here we go. I'm going to try this.
You want to try a piece?
I'm going to let Ken hold the camera for us. Everybody say hi, Ken.
Oh, hi.
Here we go. Bon appetit. Oh, that's great. That tastes like real bread.
Is it good?
It's really good, yeah.
What are you doing?
So friends, this is how you make allergen-free bread. Now Teresa is all sorts of embarrassed. This was delicious, so thank you, Teresa, and everybody else who sees how to make it will thank you.
Glad you enjoyed it, Carl.